Canada, the United States' largest trading partner, is turning its back. Not through loud protests or official sanctions, but through a subtle, widespread consumer movement. A silent boycott. Sparked by growing political tensions, cross-border policy disputes, and lingering resentment from past trade conflicts, millions of Canadians are choosing to buy less from the United States. They're shopping local, supporting European and Asian alternatives, and backing Canadian-made goods over once-dominant American brands. It's not an organized campaign with hashtags or headlines. It's a grassroots movement fueled by frustration, pride, and changing values. The impact? Staggering. In just the first half of 2025, American exports to Canada have dropped by billions. United States agriculture, tech, retail, and automotive sectors are feeling the pinch as Canadian consumers and companies look elsewhere. The ripple effect is hitting hard in border towns, small businesses, and major corporations alike. Washington remains largely silent, either unaware of the depth of the economic shift or unwilling to admit its cause. Meanwhile, Canadian media outlets report the trend with a mix of quiet satisfaction and strategic concern. This isn't just a temporary dip or political spat. It may signal a long-term rebalancing of North America's economic partnership. And if the United States doesn't take notice soon, it could lose more than just money. It could lose trust, influence, and one of its most loyal trading allies. In the months that followed, travel between Canada and the United States began to drop off. Fewer Canadians were booking flights, planning road trips, or even crossing the border for shopping. Folks started to ask each other if it was worth the trouble anymore. For many, the answer was starting to sound like no. One survey showed that more than 60% of Canadians plan to avoid traveling to the United States in 2025. That's a massive number. But, some people wondered, would they really follow through? Now we know the answer. Yes. We're seeing a big drop in travel, especially since February. That's when things between the U.S. and Canada got tense again. A new round of tariffs was announced by the U.S. government. Canadian goods were going to get hit with a 25% tax. That didn't sit well with a lot of Canadians. Travel numbers dropped almost instantly. In March, the number of Canadians returning home from the U.S. by car was down 32% compared to last year. That's the lowest since 2022, back when COVID rules were still in place. Clearly, people are staying home on purpose. This isn't about cost or weather. It's about making a statement. So, the effects are spreading far beyond just empty highways. The impact on air travel is, honestly, impossible to ignore. Airlines are seeing fewer passengers, and, the ripple effects are being felt in airports everywhere. Flights canceled, plans changed. It's not just road trips. Air travel is falling too. According to Flight Center, which is a pretty popular travel agency, 40% fewer Canadians booked U.S. vacations in February. That's a big drop. And honestly, it gets worse. 1 in 5 people who had already booked their U.S. trips ended up canceling them. Travel agents started to ask their clients why. Is it because of Trump? Is it the new policies? Are you just angry at how Canada's being treated? And their clients said yes, absolutely, 1,000%. The message was clear. We're not going to spend our hard-earned money in a country that doesn't respect us. Even airlines are changing their plans. United Airlines canceled a new Toronto to LA route it had scheduled to start in May. Other airlines are reducing the number of seats available between the two countries. That's not normal in the lead-up to summer, which is usually the busiest time of year. The changes in travel patterns, aren't just about flights and vacation plans. They ripple through the entire economy. Businesses on both sides of the border, from hotels to restaurants to car rental agencies, are feeling the pinch. And honestly, the financial impact is starting to add up in ways that, a lot of folks didn't quite expect. In 2024, about 20 million Canadians visited the U.S. Most went to places like New York, California, Florida, Arizona, and Texas. They didn't just show up. They spent money. A lot of it. In fact, Canadians spent over $20 billion while visiting America in 2024. That's more than double what all Americans spent at McDonald's in the same year. This money supports businesses, hotels, restaurants, shops, theme parks, and more. And it creates jobs. The U.S. Travel Association says Canadian tourism supports about 140,000 jobs in the U.S. That includes tour guides, hotel workers, restaurant staff, and, well, many others. So what happens when that money goes away? One tour company that handles school trips to New York said they earned $35,000 in 2024 just from Canadian school groups. In 2025, they've made just $5,000 so far, and more cancellations keep coming. The owner says he usually hires 15 guides. Now he can't give them enough work. He said it's heartbreaking. They love this job, but now I can't help them. Now let's talk about the impact on Florida. It's actually pretty significant, you know. Some U.S. businesses rely almost entirely on Canadian visitors. Take Florida, for example. Every winter, around 1 million Canadians, mostly retirees, spend months there. These snowbirds bring money, rent homes, eat out, and shop regularly. But this year, things are different. One motel owner said, "Usually, we're 80% full of Canadians. This year, only 30%. That's not just a bad season, that's a crisis." Snowbirds don't just stay for a few days. Many of them spend 3 to 6 months in the U.S., so when they stop coming, the financial hit is massive. Even snowbirds who did come this year feel, strange about it. One woman said, "This is my home for half the year, but I feel guilty for being here. Billions of dollars are tied to these long-term visitors. Their absence is being felt in every part of the local economy, from restaurants to doctors' offices." Now let's zoom in on smaller places, like towns along the United States-Canada border. These towns depend on quick day trips. Canadians come over to shop, go to concerts, visit malls, or eat out. They might just drive across for groceries or gas. But that daily traffic is disappearing. In Buffalo, New York, one of the busiest malls is seeing fewer visitors. And they know why. Fewer Canadian license plates. County officials say their sales tax revenue dropped 7% this February. That might not sound like much, but it's huge for local budgets. That money helps pay for police, firefighters, and other city services. Tourism is often the reason towns can afford those services. And when tourism drops, everyone feels it. Now, let's take a closer look at what's really going on behind these numbers, and why it matters for the community as a whole. The numbers don't lie, let's break it down. In a normal year, 20 million Canadians visit the United States. If that drops by even 20%, that's 4 million fewer people crossing the border. Economists estimate that could mean about $4.3 billion in lost revenue. If we assume an average 5% sales tax, that's about $200 million in lost tax money. That's money cities rely on, and it's not easily replaced. One lawmaker said, "We need Canadians. This situation isn't good for my state." Even places like Las Vegas are feeling the impact. Tourism boards are openly worried. The Canadian market is that important. Now let's dig a bit deeper into what's really going on here, because honestly, there are some underlying issues at play that go beyond the surface. This isn't just about money. It's about pride, policy, and protest. Canadians feel insulted. They're upset about trade fights, political taunts, and how border agents treat travelers. Many feel like the old friendship is being ignored, or worse, attacked. The Canadian government even updated its travel warnings. It now tells citizens that United States border agents have the right to search phones or laptops with no explanation. That spooked a lot of people. One Canadian said, "It's not just the politics, it's how we're being treated. We don't feel welcome anymore. That's not something fixed by a travel ad or a special deal. It's deeper than that." Looking ahead, the choices we make now could shape cross-border relations for years to come. It's important to consider not just the immediate effects, but also the long-term impacts on both communities and economies. Change, whether it's big or small, always brings new challenges and opportunities. So where do we go from here? If Canadian travel keeps dropping, the U.S. economy will take a hit, especially in tourism-heavy areas. Jobs will be lost, local businesses will struggle, tax revenue will shrink. Some American officials are already asking for change. They want to fix trade policies. They want to rebuild trust. But trust takes time. For now, Canadians are sending a message by staying home. And that message is being heard in hotel lobbies, airport gates, empty tour buses, and quiet shopping malls. It's not loud, but it's powerful. Thank you for being with us and watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell icon to get new video updates. Your support is invaluable to us.